So I've backed it up a little bit so we can hear the two tonic chords in C major. The one chord and the sixth chord. All right. Dominant chords farthest harmonically from the tonic. 5. And 7. So each time the chords, they share notes in the groupings. So 5 pulls to 1. This is what I thought I wanted to tell you. If you don't remember anything from this module, which I hope you'll remember it all, of course, but what I remember that helped me with music was 4 leads to 5 and 5 leads to 1. So here we're going to see how 5 pulls to 1. Let's look at it first. So you take the 2 chords, the 5 chord and the 1 chord, and you think, how can we arrange them so they have the shortest distance to one another? What notes in the 1 chord are closest to those notes in the 5 chord? And you see it gives us the second inversion there for the 1 chord. So in the 5 chord, the B pulls up a half step. You've got the leading tone there to the 1. The G is in the 1 chord already, so you just leave it there. And you also have the D, number 2, that wants to pull to number 3. So your resulting progression sounds like this. So in theory, this is, if we've established C is the key, if you hear this, that's tension because you're far away from the tonic. Oh no, I'm far away from home. But if you resolve it, release. All right, so 5 pulls to 1. Mozart would do this all the time. And that's just going from 5 to 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. Okay, now let's look at this, how the 7 chord resolves in a similar fashion. Because we have the tendency tones 4 and 7 that want to resolve to more consonant scale degrees. So we're looking at the 7 chord as it can be closest to the 1, and we get this. Just the triad built on 7, diminished triad. We have the leading tone, the B that wants to go up to the C. We have the 4, the F, and it wants to go down to the 3. And 2 wants to go to the 1. So we have this resolves to, here it is again. So that's where we get the predominant chords. They lead to the dominant chords. So the dominant chords are 5 or 7. So predominant chords, 2, 4, and 6. So remember my little words of wisdom. 4 leads to 5, and 5 leads to 1. So I'll just show you that. 4, 5, 1. Predominant chords typically prepare set up dominant chords. This next example shows two common chord progressions, 2, 5, 1, and 4, 5, 1. See, I'm jumping the gun. I just showed you the 4, 5, 1. So 2, 5, 1. I'll wait till I'll see what his voicing is, and then I'll play it just right how it is in the module. Okay. So this is the idea that you have predominant, dominant, and tonic. So what are the tonics? 1 or 6. What are the dominants? 5 or 7. Good. Okay. This is just one common example of how different chords can be used in a chord progression, but the same category of chords can be used in a progression stated in musical terms, a 2, 5, 1 and a 4, 5, 1 chord progression. They have the same function as a chord progression, predominant, dominant, tonic. All right. So here we're going to hear the 2, 5, 1. All right, open your ears. Isn't that nice? Again. Another very common chord progression is referred to as a circle progression. Oh, I forgot to show you. Let's see his 4, 5, 1. 4, 5. You can already hear it, can't you? 1. A circle progression is any progression where the roots of each subsequent chord move via the circle of fifths. So it goes around the circle of fifths. And sometimes it's called going around the horn. They say, this one goes around the horn, and you go, oh, all right, I know it's going to go around the circle of fifths. So you do 5, 1, and then that one becomes the 5. And then you do, that's the 5 of what? And then the 1 is the 5 of what? That's how I think of it. So we've got the falling bass notes, and these will be the roots of the chord. So if we go down by fifths, it'll be C, F. The next fifth would be a B, B flat. I think he left his flat out there. So it's rather than keep going down, you'll run out of piano. So you raise up a fourth, which is an inverted fifth. So you play the same note up an octave. So, let's listen to this progression. I'm gonna have to move this up. I think I can. Worked. All right, this is not gonna go around. This doesn't go around the circle of fifths because he doesn't have the accidentals. Let's see what happens when I play this. Oh, it's nice. It's the natural notes staying in the key. So he's going down the scale, doing a falling fifth. I'll play it again and let you just listen to it. All right. The chords we go through are 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, and then 2, 5, 1. That gives us our sense of arrival. 2, 5, 1, we know just what key we're in. After each falling fifth, the inversion of a fifth is used to maintain a smooth musical line. This next one shows what would happen if all the root notes for each chord exclusively maintain the falling fifth pattern. So this is where he's saying you'll run out of piano. What tripped me up. It's not, these aren't all perfect fifths. That's a diminished fifth. So that's what tripped me up. Sorry if that got confusing. So you wouldn't do this because you might as well go up an octave and save space. And it still harmonically works. It's the same notes, just keeping them closer. All right. Chord progressions are often used to establish a cadence. A cadence is the conclusion of a musical phrase or a closing point for a musical idea. Cadences are often harmonically driven, meaning that certain progressions of chords at the end of musical phrases generate a sense of musical completion. I was trying to play the end of Amazing Grace to show that it implies a cadence. And it does. 1, 5, 1. Whoa! Such a mince F. All right. No more drifting from the book for Cary. All right. So let's look at the cadences. And this is what will be on your quiz. Can you identify the cadence? Can you write the cadence out yourself? PAC, perfect authentic cadence. A 5 or 5/7 chord in root position leading to a 1 chord in root position with the first scale degree in the soprano voice. So a beautiful tonic note on soaring across the top. So So because the G is on the bottom, that makes it root position for the 5. And then we're going to end our piece. That's the soprano voice. Perfect authentic cadence. My first experience with cadences was singing hymns in church. They end with different cadences. Imperfect authentic cadence, IAC. Any dominant structure, 5, 5, 7, or 7, 7 half diminished, 7 fully diminished, subversion of the 7, resolving to a 1 chord in any inversion. So that means you don't have the roots on the bottom, but it's still a 5/1. So I imagine there are different kinds of these. You could come up with a bunch of them. So here's 5. Whoops, wait. I need to get that bass note, and then I'll have to play it like that. And we're going to end it. Why is that imperfect? Oh, because you don't have the high note in the soprano voice. That makes it perfect. Interesting. Imperfect cadence will not have that high note necessarily. All right, so that's one of them. Inverted IAC, imperfect authentic cadence. So we have some sort of dominant tonic thing happening. It's pretty. 5/7. First inversion, because the 3rd is on the bottom. We're going to take it to root 1. Here it is without me talking over it. Imperfect authentic cadence, inverted. That it uses an inversion. All right, leading tone, IAC, imperfect authentic cadence, where the dominant structure that resolves to the 1 chord is a 7 diminished triad. That's the naturally occurring 7. All right, see how we're going to voice it here. So we'll need the 7 on the bottom. Build it up from there. 7 diminished, and then we'll resolve to a root 1. Here it comes. Here's the 7 diminished. Again. So Sounds like a good way to resolve your cadence to me. All right, a half cadence. It's a cadence where the chord resolves to a 5 chord. So you don't go all the way home. Here we go. 1. That's the kind of thing that Mozart did to build suspense. So 1 to 5. Halfway done. All the previous examples of cadences have been in major keys. However, cadences also occur in the minor keys. All of the aforementioned cadences can be just as easily applied to a minor key. A special type of half cadence that sometimes occurs in a minor key is the Phrygian half cadence. This occurs in a minor key when a 4/6 chord resolves to the 5 chord. So 4/6. For a second, we have an F, a D, an A. So, and let's see, and we're going to go to the 5. So we're in C. Oh, we're in A minor. So a D is 4 of A. So we're in the minor key. The 6. That's added. Where is it? The B? I don't see it. Oh, the 6 is the inversion they're using. Sorry. So a 4 chord, and he's using the figured bass notation to indicate first inversion. And now let's resolve it. Sorry that took so long. Oh, thank you, train. Does not make it sound good. So we've gone to 5. 5 of 1. Let's play it again. Yeah. It sounds like we've moved to the dominant key. Stay there for a while, and then eventually the piece will probably resolve to the 1, which would be A minor. Phrygian half cadence. A 4 chord resolving to a 1 chord is called a plagal cadence. Musicians will often refer to the plagal cadence as the Amen cadence. Now, here again, this is where I know this is from growing up singing in church. And when I got to high school, they stopped singing the Amen. Took it out. So I don't know if you all will be familiar with it or not, but we'll learn it today. If you're not, I'm sure your ears have heard it. And the Amen part is Amen. It would be at the end of the congregational hymn. Here it is without me yapping. Plagal cadence. So be ready to recognize that with your ears. Deceptive cadence. That's one of my favorites. It's like a little joke. A deceptive cadence occurs anytime a 5 chord resolves to a chord other than 1. Surprise, I didn't go where I usually go. The most common example is the resolution of the 5 to the 4, as seen below. And I know this from country songs. They do that sometimes. We're not going to end it yet. We're going to go to the 4 before we end, when it usually goes 5-1. So here is deceptive cadence. looks like our surprise, I'll tell you the surprise already, is going to be, we're going to go to the minor when we should go to the 1. Here's our tension. Surprise. Oh no. Instead of our ears expecting something like that, we get the surprise. Anything other than 1. All right. It is important to remember that there are multiple options for chord progressions and cadences. What we have discussed in this module is only the tip of the iceberg, representing some of the most commonly encountered chord progressions and cadences. Experiment with different chord combinations in the major key to develop your harmonic vocabulary, all while paying careful attention to the relationship between the individual notes from chord to chord. It is also important that you practice various chord progressions and cadences in all 12 keys. Now, when I was studying piano and also when I was practicing the flute in college, for our daily practice, we'd have to play scales in every key, and at the end of the scale, you would play 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. So that's an idea. You might want to do that. On your instrument, practice scale, and at the end of the scale, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. Or 5, 7. Okay, for your quiz, be ready to identify the cadences. Write your own cadences with the module helping you and with your instrument helping you. And also listen and write down harmonic progressions using the naturally occurring harmonies in the major key. So I'll do a progression like the 2, 5, 1, or just some kind of progression I know that ends in one of these cadences, and then ask you to write it down. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy listening.